Hello. Hi everyone. Good evening. Hey, hi Rama. Sorry, no, actually my this network is not. I don't know why there's a challenge over here with that. In the previous session also, I was like this. I think this wire is damaged of my broadband, so that needs a repair. I was trying to connect it so that I could get some network. Just I just quickly start. Okay, so we'll start from here. So, right, like yesterday, what we were doing was we were exploring the functionalities of data frames, right? Like the data frames that we have, the main source on which what we do is we do all our data analysis and all. So we will explore some more functionalities on it, right? So maybe first I'll do what is I just have to make a data frame. So we can all make that up. So import pandas as PD. And right, you should always these these two libraries, pandas and numpy, you will be using everywhere. So we will always have to import these two first. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a data frame where I will say pd dot data frame. So I'm making a data frame over here, and in this, uh, what I will do is I will also import that random function that we see, so from that numpy. So import numpy from numpy dot random. I'm going to import rand n this function. So we made this data frame yesterday, right? So we were making a rand n 5 comma 4 some random numbers, index equals to uh, so our data frame is created. So I'll share this over the chat so we all can also quickly create it. But before that, please run this also. Okay. So yesterday, what we were doing was we have seen that how we can add a new column, right? This is something that we saw. So how do we add a new column in it? So which we learned was very simple way, right? We simply say df dot and you give a new column that you are trying to add in that, or you can simply say df and you want to have a new column. Suppose new, and I will say new equal to we saw this, right? We will make data frame. We say that we would like to have y plus data frame y plus z. So y is not defined. Sorry, make it right. So we all made this. So all of you please add a new column in it. Right. So now today, what we will explore is we will be seeing that how we can drop a, if you want to drop a column, so how you can do it. So drop off a column. See, what we do is in that case, we simply say that from the df dot drop, where this is a function that we have, then you give a name of that column. Suppose you want to drop the new, okay? Then you have to specify axis, like x is equal to 0 or 1, right? 0 means row, 1 means column, right? Because if you want to drop a column, you will say x is equal to 1. So it is going to search in the columns and drop the new. If you want to drop something in the rows, you will write 0 in that case, right? So if I write 1, so x is equal to 1 to drop a column, and x is equal to 0 to drop a row. Okay, so if you run this, so now if you see this column has been deleted, the new. Now if suppose similarly, so first of all, please try this and then also try that you have to remove the row E from here. Just try these things, the two things. Right? Okay. See now, if you will notice something over here, I have written a command df.drop new x is equal to 1, and you can see the output over here. Okay. Now let us go back and check the df again. But the new column is still there, right? What has happened now is this new column that although I executed this command, but it hasn't dropped it. I could see over here in this output that I wanted to drop a column, but if you check this, it is not deleted. Why so? Because what happens is in the drop command has a input which is called in place, right? This is called in place. So by default in place is false, right? By default, you will find that in place is false. What is exactly in place? In place means that, if you run this command over here, so please just watch for a second. If this is the command that I run, in this by default, in place is false. So if I say in place equals to true, right? So when you make in place equals to true, in that case, it is going to remove that column permanently, right? But if you keep it as false, in that case, it will show you the output, right? It will show you the output, that how output is going to look after removing the column, but you will have to save it into a new variable, right? You will have to save it into a new variable, or in the same variable also, you will have to say like this, that df equal to this, then it will update. But if you write df dot drop in place equals to true, right? So now if you will see the df, that column has been removed. So you have to be very careful with this in place command. Okay. And by default in place is false. You guys have something over the weekend? I mean, I just saw that. So Friday is a off.
Long weekend on Monday.
Huh?
On Monday, we have a long weekend holiday on Monday. I think Memorial Day.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So are you all able to delete it? Check these two things in place. Okay. So now we will see how do we select the rows, right? Like we have seen one thing, that how we select the column, right? We said that if you have a data frame and you want to see a column X, I can just fetch the data of that particular column. But what if you want to fetch the data of a row? So when you have to fetch the data from the row, you have to use a command that is location, location. In this, if you say that you want to fetch the data of only row A, it will give you the data of row A only, right? So you will have to use location, LOC, in order to extract the row. If you want to select the rows based on index number, then you will say df dot ilo, right? I location, index location. You give index location 1, so you get all the data of 1. The second row. If I will say 0, you will get the data of first row. Now this location that we have, typically, right? Typically most of the time you will be using location or I location only. Because with location, what happen is with location or iLocation, we can specify both rows and columns. We can specify both rows and columns. So what do I mean by that is, suppose if I come over here and I say df dot loc, okay. Now I say, suppose 0, comma 1, right? I'm saying 0, comma 1. That means row number 0, column number 1, right? Or if I say, basically I'll use ILO, not low, ILO. I'm saying row number 0, column number 1. It will give the value at that intersection, right? That is this. If I say df dot iloc, right, and you say that you want to have, you want to fetch multiple, data, that you want to get the data of, suppose, row 1 and row 2, right? So you know that how we can do that. So you will have to specify that in the bracket over there. Either you can say 1 is to 2, 0 is to 2, right? So you get first 0, row number 0 and row number 1, right? Because 2 is not something that will come in the output. You get 2 rows. Can you all please write this? You have to fetch the first and the third row. Done? Yes, Radhika. So iLocation 0 and 2. Perfect, perfect. Right. So this is what we'll do. So we'll go in that index format in that case. So in this data frame, I want to see this in the output. So can you generate this? Okay, so we have answers. So Ramal, if you write W and X, right? like the one that you have shared over here.
Yeah, it shows full, like all the columns and rows.
So there will be both the columns over here, but I want only up till ABC.
Okay.
Two columns and ABC. And what is the right? So if you the one that you have shared, so if you just bring this, right? So again, it is bringing all the columns. So it's not giving the last two rows. So we want to filter on the column also, right? Only a subset we are looking at. Only this much part. Right? So you will have to give both the things. So if I come over here, what I will do is I will say df dot iloc if I'm using iLocation. So first to give the rows, right? You want the rows, you want the rows from 0 to, the number 0, 1, 2. So you will say 0 to 3, okay? And this will come in this bracket, comma, and then you give the columns, right? Now column is you want 0 and 1. So you will say 0 to 2 and you will close it. Okay, okay. So this is location, and I want A, just a second, B and C. And when it comes to column, I want W and X. Okay, so I get this one, but why is this allocation not working? Df dot allocation. Right, so this I have specified. Let me just check this because sometimes it gets very confusing. We work this Python are multiple languages. This is just
Amit, can we try comma? So when I try comma, I think I'm not sure that's right. I'm getting X and Y.
but you get only then 0 and 2. So if
Okay.
you use this comma over here, this is just going to give that 0 and 2 in that case.
Okay. You have tried 0, 1.
Row number 0 and 3 and column number 0 and 2.
Okay.
So this is what it gives you in that case. You just put these two over here.
Okay. So, okay. So if you write 0, 1, 2, 3, then we'll get what we want.
1 to 3. So if you write 0, 1, 2, 3. So if I write 0, comma, 1, comma, 2, comma, 3. So it will give you all these. Okay, A, B, C. You get all of them. I'll just check this out once. So what's going on in this? Okay. So now similarly, what you can do is like we have filtered these rows. You can do the selection on the conditions also, basis conditions, right? Like for example, I say that from the data frame, I want to pick those numbers which are greater than 0, right? So you can use conditions as well.
There is another, I was seeing an example where they use location to find, but they gave column names in bracket and then dot LOC.
So you can, so basically, so the one that you have written, so see what we are doing over here is, so this technique, yeah, this is totally fine. So what we did was, so it just works in that sequence. So we are saying that suppose I say that I want to just pick the column X, right? So now this gives you that complete column X. Now this becomes one part. On top of that, right? Now if you put location, that you over there from that column you only want to fetch the location number. Suppose uh, A and comma B. So we can do it that way also. So what we are doing is it's like taking that same output in two parts. First generating one data frame with one column, and from that data frame picking these two rows. Right?
Yeah,
So
we
this
can
is how
select multiple columns also, right?
sorry.
We can select multiple columns also.
So see, so this is the same thing. So if you write over here, you want to select multiple columns. So you will just put this over here, and you say comma Y. So it is going to pick those two columns. So like if you execute just this much part, just a second. Oh, this bracket is missed. Okay, it's these two columns. Now on from this data frame, I am now saying over here that from here I want to pick the row number A and B. So the same thing. And you can in fact from this also, if you put that you want these row number A and B, comma, and you put that you only want to fetch the column number X. Okay. See, so you can do further that also on this. Yep. Is this clear, Radhika? Others?
Yes, yes.
Amit, I have a question. So we are in first array we are giving X and Y, and then again in the third one we are giving X. So instead, can we give just X in the first array?
No. See, what I did was, so in this part, I said that data frame that I have, I just want to pick two columns, X and Y.
Okay.
And that output that comes from there, I'm saying that I want to pick the
Okay.
A, B, and column.
Okay.
So two parts.
Okay. Okay, got it. Thanks.
Now what we do is we can also generate the output based on the conditions, right? Like for example, if I say df greater than 0, now this is my condition. So now when I say df, I want to fetch that data from my data frame where the value is greater than 0. So what happens over here is I get the output in the form of true false. So wherever the condition is getting true, I am getting this output as true, and wherever the condition is false, I'm getting the output as false. Right? So it is right now generating the output in this format. But if you want to fetch that data, right, just that data where the condition is true, I mean where the numbers are greater than 0, so we will say df, and inside the square bracket, see, square bracket is something that you will have to use just for filtering, indexing wherever you want. You give that condition inside this. So now what will happen is it gives you that data that wherever the value was greater than 0, you get those numbers, and otherwise it is not available. So it gives you not available on this.
Amit, what is the maximum number of rows and columns we can work in Python or Vue at one time?
In a data frame,
Yeah.
you can have any number, because in real time you will have millions of rows and hundreds of columns. So there is no such limit on that.
But for viewing it over here, like this is limited space. So how much can we view?
Okay, over here, exactly, I'm not, because what we do is it just shows, I guess, 50 or 70 rows, and it shows dot dot dot. So what do is we filter it. We have some commands like head and tail. So in this preview over here, it's basically you get a scroller also. that in the output, so it will not show it like this. You will get a scroller over here, so that you can scroll it down. So that way, that how also the data can be seen.
And if you
So
want
you
to
can,
see the whole data, then where is
you
it?
can fetch the whole data also in this view itself. You can fetch the whole data in this view also. So you will get a scroller over here and you can keep scrolling down.
Okay. But that's how in real time also, that's how we use this in Office.
In Office also we use it the same. See, basically, what happened is Python is something that operates in your RAM. Okay, so Python is not a database. So you will be fetching the data from some sources, right? Like from SQL Server or from Excel.
Excel.
The data comes in, it gets folded in the Python, you do your analysis, and then you send it back to the Excel. So that is how we work.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So you can use any sort of conditions over here now, like condition operators, right? Greater than, less than, equal to. All these functions are going to work. Then what I'm going to do is, so suppose if I now ask you, right? So if I say I only want to fetch, the maybe this you will be able to do, which we have done already right now over here. Okay, so if you want to use two conditions, maybe I can talk on that as well, right? Suppose if you want to fetch the data based on two conditions, let's suppose you want to fetch that data, right? You want to just fetch that data in which what is happening is in the column. Let me just give you this. You have a data frame. Okay, so I want to fetch the data. Suppose where I'm saying I want to fetch that data where in W column W the value is more than 0, and column Y the value is more than 1. Okay, so I want to fetch data on two conditions. All the values in the column W greater than 0, in column W greater than 0, and in column number Y greater than 1. Okay, suppose if you want to build two conditions, now when you have to use more than one condition, we always use two of the operators, right? One is called as and another is or, right? For and, what we do is we use the sign ampersand, and if you are using condition or, you will use the sign that is pipe operator. Okay, this is the operator that we use for or. Ampersand for and pipe for or operator or condition, right? So like if I now come over here and I say that over here I want to, from my data frame, now let's build this condition. Now I'm saying I want to fetch that data where from df column number x, sorry, w is greater than 0, and data frame column number y is greater than 1, right? So if I give these two conditions, we don't have such data that we're getting over here, greater than 0. So let's do one thing. Let's inverse it, right? Like this is this. Let me make it w as more than 1, and uh, y less than 0. Why is it not giving? Okay. Okay, the bracket should be same. So I get that row where w is more than 1, right? So w is more than 1 and x is less than 0. That is this row. Okay. Now you will find somewhat similarity like SQL, right? If you will think starting on the line of SQL, we will see that that is the kind of work that we are going to do. So now if I come back to data frame, okay. Now in the data frame, it's not mandatory that you can only have the data of one single column of one single type. you can have the data of variety of type also, right? You can have data of variety of type as well. Suppose let me add a new column. Let us call it as names, right? I'm just creating an array over here, right? Basically just a variable in which I'm going to save some names, right? So I'm saving the names as suppose Sam, Harry, Jack, Susan, Susan, and right, and we have dots, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Dot split. That's just what we did. Watch it with me for a second. Okay, now what I want to do is, if you will see over here, names, right? These are the names that I have. Okay, so in this data frame that I already have, I'm going to add that. So I'm going to say df. I want to add a new column. Let's call it as names equal to this variable that I have created. So now if you will see, my data frame has been updated. So I have the data numerical also, and I have the data character also. So you can add the data of multiple types as well. So now you can try it. I hope this function is clear to everyone, right? This function is clear to all of you.
Amit, I'm not getting the values. I tried, but I'm not getting the values.
Sorry?
I'm just getting the WXYZ, the column name, not the values. The previous column. No, not here. No, not here. In DFW. Oh, okay, I'll share this.
You can share the screen.
Here.
Run this.
Yes.
You have W greater than 1. Okay. Actually you don't have any number in this. So that is why you're not getting. See, in this data frame, there is no number in the W column which is more than 1. So make it W because we all have generated random numbers. So that is why your numbers are different and my numbers are different.
Okay.
So make it just make it 0, 0. Can you scroll it down? Just scroll down. I just want to see the data frame. And now you can run this. Now run this. In the Y.
Okay, Y also greater than 0.
Y greater than 0. Make Y also greater than 0. Right. So now what it is doing is it is checking. So if you see just this, let me just explain. Just scroll down a little bit so that we can see the data frame. Right. So what we are doing over here is we are giving two conditions that you want to fetch that data, those rows in which the value of W is greater than 0 and Y is greater than 0. So you will check row by row. Okay. So if I just request the remote controls. Right. So now it is going to check this row by row. In the first row, it comes and says, is your condition true that W is more than 0 and Y is more than 0, right? So the condition is coming true over here, right? This condition is true. But if you come in this row, now this W is less than 0. So this will be discarded because over here my condition is getting false. The same thing happens over here and the same thing happens over here. So that is why as a result, you get only one single row in the output.
Okay.
Right. Now if I ask you, right, so now if I ask you that I want to fetch that data where the W is less than 0 and Y is more than 0, so which all rows will come in the output? W is less.
First, the A will be false. It is greater than 0. B is lesser than 0.
So condition is W less than 0 and Y more than 0.
No, here it's less than okay.
You can write the condition, right? So just don't get confused.
So B and Y, B, C, B and C.
B and C, correct, right? B and C you will get. Got it? The idea?
Got it.
Okay, so now I can share my screen. So now you can add this column. So I just added a new column of a new data type of character data type. So now can you fetch just the data of Sam, right? So now all of you write a code. I just want to see the data of Sam. So yeah, don't do it by this way. Just do it by condition, writing a condition. The name equal to this condition I would like to have. Okay, because in case if there were like 10,000 rows where multiple times Sam was coming, so that technique will not be, you know, useful. So base is the condition, using the conditions.
Amit, I'm getting an error. Can I share my screen? Oh,
Yes.
oops.
And you want to share your screen?
Yes. Okay.
Okay. So can I see your data frame once? Actually, you have 4 rows. Actually, you have 4 rows, so you have one additional name in that. That is why it is creating a problem. Just remove one name.
Okay.
Right, I want to fetch that data where df names, right, equals to Sam, uh, right? So Sam. So I'm saying I want to fetch that data wherever in the column of names I'm getting a Sam, right? So I'll get that data now. So for equal to, you will have to use double equal to sign, because single equal to in Python means assignment, right? Because when I say single equal to, it's like, I am assigning this value over here. So that is why you will have to use double equal to. That's the only difference. Okay. Right, Radhika? So yep, the way you are doing that is also correct, because we saw that we can give the names that way as well, df dot names, right? Everyone, Karan, Marina, Sharmila, are you all following up?
Yes.
You guys let's respond a little less. So please share the things as well over the codes and all. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a file with you, a CSV file, and we will load the data from that CSV file now. Okay. So just give me 1 second.
Amit, we didn't do how to drop a row.
Sorry.
We didn't do how to drop a row.
Drop a row. We did not. So like what you do is the same thing that we use. So we have df dot drop, right? So whatever row you want to delete, suppose you want to delete the row that is A. Okay, you want to delete this row, so I've given the row name over here. Okay, then you say x is equal to 0, right? So when you say x is equal to 1, so okay, so when you say x is equal to 1, it will drop a column, and when you say x is equal to 0, it is going to drop a row. Okay, so this is what we just have to do. So you will say x is equal to 0 and you run it. So see, A is gone.
We can also
Now
do using index. If you
you
don't,
can use that indexing. You can, with the help of indexing also, you can do it. You can just give the index number in that case. So you will do
give dot
index
drop
numbers.
dot index, then 1 or 0.
Sorry.
No, I just written in the chat the index.
Ah, so just the index number over here. So that's another one. You just have to use that index function in that case. Right. So df dot index. Okay. So x is, we just have to use that axis command where you say x is equal to 0 or 1. So 1 means column and 0 means row. That's it.
And here also, if we use in place, that will be permanent change. In place equal to true.
Because indexing is for both, right? Rows also and columns also. So that is, and in place, right? In place you have to be careful. If you don't
Only
use that
if
in
it's
place, it
permanent.
is not going to remove it permanently.
Mm.
Right? Like if you see now, A has come back.
Okay.
Okay. So now what I'm doing is I'm just sharing a data set with you. Just give me a second. Okay, you guys already have also that file with you. That UK bank customers. I guess you all have that UK bank customers.
That
We use
will
it in the
which
Tableau we use. In the Tableau we use. Right, right. If you want me to resend it, I can do that.
bank customers. P1.
UK bank. We
Yeah.
use even UK bank customers. Right. So that file we are going to use. My file. So what you do is just copy and paste that file in that folder. Just you can copy and paste that file in that one downloads folder. Okay, so once you have this, so I'll just copy and pasted it. So okay, so Radhika, you already shared it. Thank you. So in order to read a data from a CSV file, right? So what we do in that case is, if you come over here, you will be using a function. So first of all, I'll just wait so that you all have the data. So bank, you create a variable by the name of bank, and then you will say pd dot read CSV. Okay, pd dot read dot CSV. This is what we use. So the file is in, it's over here. folder is it looking out for? Let's do one thing. Let's do the complete path. Okay, so I just loaded from the complete path. So now if I say bank, so I can see the complete data. So just give the path over there. Where you have placed the file, the name of the file, and you will see the complete data has been loaded.
Amit, can you repeat once again from the beginning? How did you copy the file and how did you extract it?
See what it was? I had this file placed, kept in one of the folders. So you can just make one folder of Python, because now we will start working on the data sets. Up till now we were learning programming. Now we will start using data sets over here.
Okay.
So make a folder and place that file in that folder.
Okay. Thank you.
And then what you can do is just say pd pandas.read.csv. This is a function to load the data from CSV files. And give the path and the file name with extension .csv. Once you run
Okay.
it, so data will be
Okay.
saved. So Radhika, like you were asking, right? So this over here, this is how this data comes up, right? So it is showing that these many rows, and it just gives that a complete sample over here, that the data that you wanted to see. Okay, the last and the first rows. So now there are like 4,000 rows that we are having in this. It shows you data over here. And now if you just want to see some sample, right? If you want to see just initial rows, so we have a function called head, right? Head is a function. This gives first 5 rows in the output, right? Like for example, if I say bank dot head, it will be the first 5 rows in the output.
You can also specify the number of rows in this.
You can specify if you want 10, 20, 30, you can specify that.
It's not loading the data for me somehow. I don't know, I've given the path, but it's still not.
Sorry?
It's not loading the data for me. I've given the path, but still it's not loading the file. Is there any other way we can do this?
Can you share your screen?
Yeah, sure. One second. So, are you able to see my screen?
No.
But here I'm not given the full path. Like I gave the full path also, it wasn't working. So this is the full path. Customers. This is the file name.
It's giving an error that this seed that you're giving this COA. One second. You have copied it, right?
Yeah.
The path, it's path is correct, right? So you're using C drive over there. And just do one thing. Maybe you know what you can do is just replace this the backslash with a forward slash. Sorry, in the path, come just replace it with 2 backward slashes.
Yeah.
Wherever you make it 2. Everywhere.
Run it.
Now run this.
Yeah. How did this work?
So basically, sometimes this happens. Basically, there are two ways. Either you put the two backward slash or you put one single forward slash, right? So if you get this error, so you just have to use that. So
Nice
either you
hack.
can write this or you can write one forward slash.
One
So
forward
this
slash like uh, this
is
way.
remove this one and you remove the other two. So everywhere you will use forward slash,
Okay.
right? Or you can write the path that you had previously, the way you have written. So I'm just telling you the ways. So you you can just copy and paste it one more time.
Yeah. But once it's imported, if I try to run it again, will it not give an error?
Huh? No, it will load it again.
Okay.
That's it.
Now
So now the path, I want a single one.
forward.
Just put single. No. Backward slash.
This one.
This one.
Everywhere.
Yes. Then what you can do is before the path, before the single quotes, before the before the single quotes outside the quote, that single quote, write R. R stands for raw string.
This.
Lowercase r, lowercase. Now run this. So this will also take, right? So three ways. R as in raw string, that this is a string that you are giving where that file is placed. So you can use three ways. Either write R or you write, the two backward slash or one forward slash. So number of ways of doing the same.
Backward.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
So others, I hope you all are having this data now. This head command we just saw, you already able to execute it.
Yes, Amit.
Okay. Then we have a function info. Okay. So if you say bank.info, so it will give you complete information about your data set. That in your data set, you have these many rows, these many columns, these are the column names, and these are the data type of them. Okay. Now, can you try these questions? These two questions, you have to find the maximum balance and you have to find the average age. So now your multiple things will combine. Your NumPy or your pandas, the things will come together, right? So if I have to find the maximum balance, so what I will do, I have my variable bank. From here, what I need to do is I just need to use my variable balance, right? So if I just pick balance, it will give me only the rate of balance. And from this, I want to pick the maximum value. That is this. Right? Same way, if you want to find the average age, I will say bank column of age dot mean So for finding the mean, the average age of a customer is 38, 38.6. Can you please do this question? You have to calculate the average age of male. And now you have to go step by step, right? First, you make your data frame, the bank data that you have. How will I make sure that I only get the data of male? So I will say bank,
Gender, again a square bracket and gender
right? Gender, the column is gender,
equal to male, equal to as in double, yeah, male.
right? Male,
And then the mean of age dot.
dot,
It should it be dot or another square bracket with age?
you can,
Age in square bracket and then dot mean.
right? You have age, right? So if you run this, so
Dot
something went
mean.
wrong.
But we don't need that dot operator for age, connecting the two things. Dot mean.
Dot,
Mean.
I couldn't get you, sorry.
In the end, if you go and write dot mean, mean, MEAN.
Oh, so sorry. Sorry.
But we remove dot from before age.
Right, right. We don't need this.
Yeah. Now
So you will get this now. So you get all the age data, right? And now if you will apply dot mean on this, so you get that average age of male, right? So this was the complete data frame from where you only wanted to extract one column that was age. And for that, you wanted to find the mean. Okay.
but I have one question here.
Yes,
When
please.
we selected bank, that means we're taking bank data. Why again we have to mention gender from bank?
So, because remember, like when you write this bank and you write this square bracket and you say gender, okay, this gender for this column equals to male. What this does is this gives you the output in the form of true false. Okay, if you run this,
Gender in quotes. Yeah.
so this gives you the output in the form of true and false, right? True, false, true, false. So I want to pick only that data which is true. True means where the gender will be male. So now in this is giving me true and false. So I am saying from the bank data set, I only want to pick that data now which is true. So it will pick only the male part. So that is what we will be, that is why we have to do it two ways. So basically this is also like something like indexing only that we are doing, right? And then from that we are saying that we just from the complete data set, we just want to keep the column of age. Like this was the complete data frame, and I am saying I only want to keep the data where the gender equal to male is equals to true. And from that data frame, like if I just run this now, for example.
Yeah. Okay.
Got the idea? What we are trying to say?
Yes.
If I
Yes.
just put this over here, right? See, it now gives the data, complete data wherever it is male, right? Just the male data. So that is what this male is doing. Now from this also, I said that I only want to keep the column of age. So it gives only age column. And on that, I want to calculate mean. So I get this. Okay, so you can try to, now do a lot of stuff on this, right? You can try to calculate, okay, what is the count, right? How many males do I have? How many females do I have? Right? What is the, how many first class, the white collar job people do I have? What are the number of people who are male and doing the white collar job? So try to do those kind of questions, right? The stuff that we did in Tableau and SQL also, try to figure that data out. And then we will also study about some of the commands like the grouping and other part, so that we can understand more of how the data analysis is happening. Okay, we will also see joins and all. How do we combine the data set from multiple data sets? So all those things we will be seeing.
So
And then
one question over here, like when we did lambda, right? Lambda was also used for selection only, right? Perform on the spot calculations.
lambda, right? That was a function.
To perform on the spot calculation, right?
Yes.
We can't use that here on the data frame.
But we already have that main function with us. You'd have to write all that part on the. I mean, you can use the functions over here. You can use that lambda function. We
Like
can
where
use
is
it.
lambda used? Like you said, it's important. So where is it generally used?
See, we will be doing it. So what happens over there is you will be having to create a lambda function on this. So over here, when you are writing this age over here, in that case, what we will do is we will be using lambda like this. Okay. Then you write that function that you want to create, that x variable that you will be giving, and then you give that calculation, that sum divided by this, which is any which is we're going to use mean function only.
Main.
So in that case, I mean mean, because we straight away have it, and the same thing we will have to use in a lambda also. So it doesn't make a use over here, but definitely I'll show you a couple of examples where we will be using the lambda function as well.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So with this, I think we can take a pause here, right? So I'll try to share some stuff for you over the weekend, to go over the weekend. So you guys, I mean, if you get a chance, I think it's a long weekend. So if you get a chance, you can spend some time on it, and definitely next week then we'll take the things forward. Okay. Okay, everyone. Then so let's take a pause here. So let's connect next week. Thank you. Thanks, Radhika. Thanks, Rama. And all of you have a great weekend. Thanks, Karan.